At least for now. For my part, I'm simply grateful. Grateful that I have a god watching my back, and grateful that he's given me the power to watch others in return.
Well, at least Innocence has stopped being a cunt.
For a long time now, I thought my god's intentions were being twisted by his supposed servants. Did I speak up? No. The pyre would have been my only answer. I did what I was told and drew the lines of morality where I could. Now I understand the truth. It wasn't Innocence's intention being twisted. It was Innocence himself, perverted by the selfish convictions of the men and women who worshipped him. The god answers to the believer, as the believer answers to their god.
Huh, that's an interesting take. I kinda like it. I like a lot about this game.
The sign of purity. Let's see. A staff, bathed in innocent blood. No. Sorry, bathed in the blood of Innocence. Yes, Innocence gave a part of his divine self to the thing, and gifted it to the Templar. Now that I recall, I read a tome about it when I was a cadet. Bloody long time ago. I skipped most of the boring pages, so only remember the bit where High Templar Maxarius smote with flame the army of the faithless, with one ray of its hallowing light. The book's words, not mine. Outside of my humble flesh, the sign of purity is about all that's left of Innocence. Don't ever give up.
Pop back in. Kind of stuck on time here with the portal. There's no gateway back and forth, so this is best I can do.
I'm here to serve. Devotion should be honored, I suppose. For centuries now, the Templar have boiled the flesh and skin from the devout, and presented the polished remains for public appreciation in the ossuary. Personally, I think it's one of the better ways to remember those who have gone before us. To touch the bones is to remember neither the legend, the legacy, nor the lies. It reminds you that those bones belong to a man or woman who was just like any other man or woman.
It's a kind of a humble thing, you know?
I'd be lying if I said my hands were clean of slavery's blood. I was a soldier. I went where Dominus ordered me to go. I sailed with the expedition to Ngamakanui, killed Karui warriors, and rounded up Karui captives like every other bastard in a Templar uniform. So I don't blame Lonnie for wanting to take back her freedom, and I don't blame her for believing Utula's lies either. I certainly swallowed enough of Dominus's falsities to sicken my soul. It's what we do now that matters. I can see that Lonnie's heart is in the right place, and for once in my damned life, so is mine. To be perfectly honest with you, I don't trust her. Yeah, I've got my reasons. Piety kept her work pretty quiet, but her results were brutally clear. The people she took, the people she changed. Slaves mostly, and a few enemies of God. Enemies of bloody Dominus, more like it. I don't go in for black and white definitions of good and evil, but with piety in her ilk, I make an exception. Whatever's lurking inside Violenta, it ain't good. Not by a long shot. Innocence blesses your journey.
I gotta agree with him.
You can ask, but you might not like the answer. Farewell.
I'm gonna pop back here, then go back. I've got like 8 to 15 minutes or something. I got plenty of time to dance with it, but like to listen to them talk, but I like to play safe.
Hello. I told you so. What more need I say? Bannon claims that a god now lives inside his head and talks to him. What's more common? Divine possession or insanity? I'll leave you to calculate the odds.
It seems 1-to-1 right now.
The sign of purity, yes. A discry staff that Piety sent me to study at one point. Apparently it was a gift from Innocence to the first High Templar, Maxarius. Dominus couldn't even bear to touch the thing, so he had it locked up in the ossuary. Quite reactive behavior for a man of such formidable intellect, yet now it's making a little more sense. The staff was certainly able to conduct and store energy, yet remained inert when I applied corruption to it. It must only respond to divine energy, and with corruption and divinity being diametrically opposed, it's no wonder that my experiments failed to excite the thing. meaning? If the sign of purity is a repository for the power of innocence, Dominus could never have wielded it, being steeped as he was in the opposing power of the beast. You, though, you're a different matter entirely.
Well, I guess we did kill the beast.
People have talked about the return of the gods since the birth of Oriath. It's a gambit employed by charlatans to fleece the weak-minded and morally desperate. Or so it seemed. Avarius and his Templar drones now greet the dawn filled with power and glorious purpose. Kitava has risen from whatever ethereal cesspit he's been hiding in for the last few millennia. So what let the cats out of their proverbial bags? I'm a scholar, not a prophet. Yet there's one occurrence that absolutely reeks with evidential causality. You killed the beast.
Yeah, it's kind of our fault. Yeah.
You really don't have a strong grip on cause and effect, do you? Things replace other things. It's the most fundamental of laws. The larger the thing you remove, the bigger the rush to fill the space that's left behind. Innocence was the nexus of power in Oriath. Remove him and something of equal or greater power was always going to take his spot. Any idiot could have predicted that Kitava was going to be that something. Unless, of course, you thought it was going to be you.
More likely than you.
Dominus adopted Chittis Cathedral as his personal laboratory. He decked it out with everything his miraculous mind could conceive of. His great work in Psalm, that which you destroyed, it all began there. Farewell.
I'm not sure if she quite approves of me stopping his, horrendous work. But that's not really surprising now, is it? Considering, considering everything, really. Boom kills. Again, my mind. Again, my name. Again, my mind. Ooh, there's an altar over this way. Again, my mind drifts to, like the idea of someone in school with that name being called out at the roll book. It's a funny image. Oh, so it's bloody 4 AM now. Suddenly an hour just disappeared. Must grab. Thank God. Just need to get rid of that. Get rid of these. Anything around here? This. Oh, that's the stone. Okay, we found the way out. I want to kill off some more in here. Radiant Jewel, mine. Ooh. The screen's after going like a little fogged. It's as if someone had covered with Sudocrem, not Sudocrem, Vaseline. Mine. Boom, baby. Silk robe. Ooh. No wonder I haven't been getting much loot. I didn't even think about it. Let's double back and take a look. I forgot to hit V again. Also, as a first little thing. Yes, unique influence. Yeah, everything's... Brilliant. I know these are within the radius as well, so they're highlighted. Technically, that's within the radius. How's are these? Medium radiance is pretty nice. So, all my minions will be that bit burlier now, which is a very good thing. So let me double back this way. 2 scrolls of wisdom. Really excited to get the power of, you know, some god, you know? Just hoping it'll be innocence. A little. Just pure, you know, he's the arsonist god. So... basically, you know, boost up my elemental damage. Or at least a part of it. Yeah, boost up my elemental damage. Or at least some fraction of it. Which isn't half bad. Crimson Scholar, eh? Mine. Excuse me. Mine. I want to go finish this prophecy, but this place is so goddamn expansive. It just, you know... Also, I'm thinking that it mightn't actually give me a reward for completing it. It's just like, you know, the rats, you know? It adds extra enemies to the area for me to kill, and that's it. In which case, I'm just gonna move on. Really happy with the new gem I got. Zombies are that bit burlier. All my minions are that bit burlier. Zombies especially. Cannibalism, eh? Oh, that's just fantastic. Well, gotta fix that. Get no eaten. Cannibal, no cannibalizing. Boom. Oh, that's just beautiful. Ooh. That looks weird. Because normally they're much wider than that, so it looks like half of it's clipping into the ground. Nice. Might Zeal. Could be a worse name. Nice. So what is my character's name? Gat. Couldn't remember for precisely what it was. Also, I guess now we know why this guy never just fled back to Tikohama. You know, back to home. Because he wanted to usher in Kitava, who was nicely nestled in his head. Strange. They broke the other waypoint, but this one's left. Ooh, and there's other things after branching out. Rune Square. Oriath's Bleeding Heart is the main course in a terrible feast. Okay. There's 2 side places. I have a feeling I should really go do them. Or at least unlock them. Hopefully they'll have a portal just inside the, you know, inside the way. Wait, what the? Twisted effigy. Oh. It's like a human crab thing. That's disturbing. Shadow Scholar. It was actually trying to warp itself into something. Not entirely sure what. My god. Come on. Boom. Beautiful. What's this? Anger. Wonder if they've altered any other place. Like, you know, the cells. Possibly. Oh, you can't actually access the cells anymore from here. So yeah, this place is probably still the same as it was. At least I have the portal here now. I think I might head to bed momentarily. I know I've been saying that for a while, but it just... Ooh, Kitava's torments are down here. Oh, okay. Strangely, it's optional. I think such a thing wouldn't be. But maybe if you don't do it, you're in for a harder fight. But I'm gonna go get it. You know what? Kitava's pissed me off. You know, he's getting the torments. Yes, just stride through the piles of bodies, got it. It's very polite. Heretical wards, eh? Utterly shocking. And oh my god, they've killed civilians! The cats! The monsters! Boom. Ooh, mine. Shadow Scholar, eh? I can't remember. Do their name change before, you know, after transformation, or not? Don't know. Not the case. They'll die. Whoa! 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 Okay, people are dying right now. I think that was actually blood on the building, which was pretty fucking brutal. Heretical Guardian. How many people here were worshipping Kitava? Or has Kitava somehow dominated them? I wonder. Lead you down. There's an objective over here?
Did you think our vengeance was done, Savior? Oh no! It has only begun.
Oh, he's warped in a weird manner. Like, look, if I'm gonna get Ulta, Stone, and Steel, I can go to chat with Bannon for a reward. The King's Feast. You killed him, but prevented him from completing the ritual. Still, I can get a reward.
Freedom comes to those... You've sent the traitor to meet his ancestors, have you? That'll be an interesting conversation. I'm no Hatungo, but I can foresee Utula walking a long road of trial and suffering before he earns himself a place at the ancestors' table. And just as Utula's journey continues, so does yours. Right into the jaws of Kitava. I don't profess to understand the mind of a god, but I know the stories. Kitava is patient. He waited in the darkest pit of Hinekore's realm. He will bide his time while his hunger spreads like the plague it is, and when his tribe is replenished 100 times over, Kitava will rise one final time to finish the feast that he has started. Oriath is merely the appetizer. There's a whole world
That's a glitch.
for Kitava to taste.
At least
You've proved that you're a hero, Lucas. You've sent
that
a
glitched
traitor
out.
to meet his ancestors, have you?
I'll ignore the game. I'll read what it says when we get to the point.
I'm no Hatungo, but I can foresee Utula walking a long road of trial and suffering before he earns himself a place at the ancestors' table. And just as Utula's journey continues,
I almost pity
so does
them for the
yours.
trouble.
Right into the jaws of Kitava. I don't profess to understand the mind of a god, but I know the stories.
At least he's not our
Kitava
problem
is
any longer.
patient. He waited in
The
darkest
ancestors
pit
might
of
not thank you
Hinekore's
for
realm.
it,
He
but
will
I
bide
do.
his time while his hunger
And so
spreads
does
like
every
the
slave
plague
to
it
have
is.
survived his
And when his
lives.
tribe is replenished. Bannon is unexpected. At least, he's not the sort of Templar that I'm used to dealing with. His ideas about innocence almost make sense to me. The way he worships innocence and receives such power in return, it's like his devotion actually brings out the best in his god. But how is that possible?